Everyone doing?
All right.
Nice. Okay, let me just change my view. I like to see Frida. I knew it. And Rose, I see her okay in Frida's actions. Yes, I am prepared to show what I'm talking about. Frida asked in the chat if I can share an image. I was supposed to actually have, I was telling Nicole and Ashley and Paige when they were on that I was supposed to have Elijah actually live wiggling in my hands right now. But unfortunately, I had a meeting and I had to stop by the office on the way home. So the next time, I'm hoping I'll be at home and I can do it from the home office and I'll show you this guy in live time so that you'll know he's real and I'm not drawing pictures of him. But here's some images. Give me 1 second. I'll show you. Here we go. Here's my preview. So yeah, that's the little guy right there. He's doing so much. Again, all of you are probably parents and grandparents. This is our first one. So we're just like seeing him just laugh and we could tickle him. This is us in the house. Her parents came over for Mother's Day yesterday. This is my wife, Amaryllis, and that's the little dude just being a little dude.
God.
Yeah.
That was the first Mother's Day. Amazing.
Yes, she really enjoyed it. So happy belated Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. I do not like just giving one day to all of you all. Like I told my mom and every other mother I know, I think you all deserve at least 364 days. Not 365, but 364 should suffice. But you all do so much and you only get one day. And I know, you know, your husbands and everyone should celebrate you more than that. But I just think that without mothers, obviously we couldn't have kids. But in addition to that, just everything that you all do, it was just more than just a day for us. So happy Mother's Day to all of you. And we're going to get started with this tech hour.
Yes, and we have, I see Beverly, you have your hand up. I see Nancy next, and there's a couple of questions in the chat. So let's get right to Beverly. Hang on 1 second. Let's unmute Beverly.
Nice.
Hi.
Hey, Beverly.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Oh, wait, you're on mute. If you could just unmute. Hold on.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. I have a desire to change my Zoom background, but when I go into video and it says, I used to have another background that has disappeared and I don't know where it went. And I would like a different background. I like the one I have, but I'm getting a little tired of it. And I wanted something that looked more homey or something. And I don't really have a picture like that. I want to know if I could get a different background from somewhere and plug it in here.
Sure. What type of device are you on, Beverly? I'm
on a PC desktop.
Okay, so here, let me share my screen with all of you. I'm gonna share my whole desktop so you can see, you know, all the different applications I'm going through. I'm on the Mac, but it doesn't matter. It's gonna be pretty much the same process, right? We've talked about this, like we usually have a class strictly on Zoom. And as Nicole states, it's always something changing. Plus, everyone's always trying to do certain things on Zoom. So we continue to bring it back. This question arises a lot. So what I would do if I were you is open up your browser. In my case, I'm actually just going to use my Google Chrome. Can everyone see that? The Google Chrome I have up?
No.
No?
Yes.
Here. Okay, yes. All right, perfect. So in here, I would just type in Zoom backgrounds.
I have failed with that so miserably. I don't know what they're talking about. I can't make anything. They give me page after page and I never get anywhere.
Yeah, and so the way you want to do it is it's all images, right? So when I type in Zoom backgrounds, of course, it's gonna give me a lot of images. I could be on here.
I never get to that page. I never get to that page.
All right, so if I were you, maybe just start by going to google.com.
Yeah.
That is going to be your key. So I am Googling Zoom backgrounds on Google. I'm not sure what your search engine is, but on Google.
It is Google.
Okay, so if you are Googling and you type in Zoom backgrounds, you should get to the same option where you see all of the different images.
I never get there. I'll have to try it again, but all I get is more pages to click on to. I never get images. So
Well, now here's the thing. You probably get all of this stuff down here, different links. That
yes.
is going to come up, and that's how it should be. But if you're not seeing this first part, that's completely fine. You can zoom in and you could just, well, I'll zoom in. You can just go right here to
Ah,
images,
images. Oh,
and
how
then you'll get
helpful.
even more images. So
Great.
let's just say, for instance, this is the guy that I want. I'll
Yes.
click on this here. Now, the reason why you're getting all these links is, this particular page is called archive.curbed.com, and they have way more than what, just this image here. I can go and get more. But on my computer, at this point in time, I would right click. And when I right click, I get an option to save the image. So I can save this image as whatever, and I'll just type in test zoom image. Now, notice that it's going into my downloads. Again, this will look very different on your PC, but you have on a PC, you can just download right to downloads, download the image right to your downloads so that you know where it lives so that you can upload it from the proper place.
Could I
So
download it? Could I download it to my desktop?
you certainly can. Wherever you
Okay.
feel comfortable going to get it, you
Yes.
can. I like always putting my downloads in downloads,
Okay.
but you can put it in documents, downloads, pictures, wherever.
Okay. Okay.
So once you save it, now I have that image in my downloads. Now I would go to just this little arrow on the side of stop video,
Yeah. Yeah.
choose virtual background.
Right.
I have a little plus here where it says add image or video. When I click on that and then I choose add image,
Fabulous.
now
you
it's
answered
gonna,
my questions. You answered.
yeah.
My problem was I never could get any images, and now you showed me how to get images. All
Yep,
I
and
got
then
was one website.
once you get those images, and if they're gonna be on your desktop, in my case, I put it in my downloads, remember?
Right.
There's the guy right there. I would click on it. And now there's my background.
You have helped me so much. I have asked so many people and I never got an answer so good. Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're very welcome. My pleasure, Beverly.
All right. Nancy, if you want to unmute, go ahead. Hold on, you're on mute. One sec.
Sorry. Hi, Julius.
Hey, Nancy, how's it
Hey.
going?
Good, good. I'm working with a lot of documents and like Excel spreadsheets from years back.
Yes.
And I wanted to know if you have a preference using either like the Google Docs, etc., or the Microsoft. And then my next question with that is then I have so many, how do I save them but not to the drive?
How do you save them and not to what?
To the drive or the cloud? Only because I think that's going to be limited storage.
Yeah, there will be dependent upon like if you have a free account. But to answer your first question, if I like the Microsoft options such as the Excel in the cloud or the Google Drive, it's sort of kind of like what you feel comfortable with, stick shift or automatic or red or blue car, whatever kind of, whichever way. I personally like, I'm very familiar with Google Drive, and I like Google Drive. And Google, let me take that back. So Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google, the presentations, they're in Google Drive. So you have this drive that Google will give you free storage with. Now, when it comes down to like an Excel sheet, if it's not a really heavy, crazy sheet with macros and all of that stuff, they don't really weigh that much. So you can save a lot of stuff in your Google Drive and not even take up that 15 gigabytes that they give you, I believe, for free.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were you, it's backing up there already. And if you feel comfortable with using the Google Sheets, the great thing about that is, one, it automatically saves every time you do something. You have variations of that document. And then two, it's going to store the whole document in the cloud. And should you want to send that document to me or Marion or whomever, you could just send out a link to it, and then they can go and view that document. In addition to that, you can see that you can see me view that document. So you could say, hey, Julius, did you get that document? And I'm like, no, I didn't. It's like, well, I see you logged in right now. Like, that's you, right? So you have all of these eyes on it, and that's why I like the whole Google Docs or Google Sheets. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Now, if I did one of those, save some to a flash drive and not keep it up there, how do I do that?
So in that case, you can do both. So here, let me show you. Let me get into my drive. Let me see here. Sheets.google, and then I'll share it with you 1 second. Okay, so I'm already in, and I'll share my screen with you all. So in here, as you see, when I go to Google, you go to Google docs.google.com. All of these right here on the side. So I can go to Doc, which would be equivalent to a Word document. You have Sheets, which is equivalent to Excel, Slides, which is equivalent to PowerPoint, and things of that nature. So the great thing about this is, again, and I forgot, like if you have a Gmail or Google account, instead of paying for Microsoft Office, you can get this for free. And you can use it just like you would those other programs. So in this case, at this particular, let's just go with this guy right here, this particular document. So I have this document here, and if you're updating this document all the time, you could just, and you want a not physical copy, but a digital copy that lives on your computer, you can click on File, Download, and you can download this Excel format. And then it can actually download right to your computer. So anytime you go in there, you're like, all right, it's gonna stay in the cloud, but every time I'm done updating this sheet, I just wanna download the latest version. When you click on Microsoft Excel, it just downloaded it right to my computer so that you have a copy of it.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you. And then my last question of pictures, how can I make sure that I'm saving those to the cloud or to Google Drive, I guess?
So photos, what type of device do you have?
Oh, and Android?
Okay. So I think that the best option for photo backup, let me go back to here. Okay, so when you go to, if you all are using Google Photos, which I think is really, really good on Android, and you have the option on Apple. I really like the Photos app for Apple devices with the iCloud, but on here, photos.google.com. And this is going to be all of your different photos. Now, if I had photos here, you would see all of those photos, but I actually don't. So let me see if I can add one, the one that we just downloaded. I'll just add this guy right here. And I just dragged and dropped it just so you could see one photo here. And basically that's my photo. So if you have Google Photos on your Android phone, whatever, and you make that the default, whatever picture you snap with your Android, if you're connected with your Google account, and then you go here, every time you take a picture, it should automatically upload to the cloud. So you don't have to plug in your phone and try to download them, upload them, and do all of that jazz with the photos. They'll automatically go to your cloud.
Great, wonderful. Great. Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Diane B., go ahead.
Hi, how are you? I'm
Hey, I'm
Diane
good,
B.
Diane. How are you?
Good. Okay, my question, getting back to the other lady that mentioned, first of all, I'm on an iPad,
Yes.
number one. And number two, like I have a background now, but when you go into the backgrounds, on my iPad for Zoom, it's very limited. They're not that many. So where can I access other backgrounds if I want to use them for Zoom purposes?
Hang on, I'll tell you. I'm actually just logging in with my iPhone right now. 1 second. And I'll get in here. I'll show you. Then I'll share my phone with you all so you know what I'm doing. Okay. Register. And I'll just join here. Ashley will let me in. And then once I'm in here, then I'll show you where you'll be able to update that. You don't have all of the same options that you have on a desktop, which makes
I know.
sense because
know.
it's a heavy program already and the computer can compute that, but the phones there and the iPads, they're just a little limited, or smartphones, or let me just turn this down. Got it. And no audio. So I'll do no audio for now. And then when you actually go in here, so background and effects. All right, allow to access. Now, do you have this photo already on your device that you want to change it to?
It's on Zoom. It's on what I have. You see, I think it looks like San Francisco or something like that. It's on there now.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
you're trying to add your own personal photo, right?
yeah, add different backgrounds, because when you go into the backgrounds on here on my iPad, there's not that many.
Okay, so here, let me show you all how to do this here. And it's gonna be in a different spot, but I'm using my iPhone, right?
Okay.
So as I share this screen, give me 1 second. Are you able to see my,
Nerd alert.
okay, 1 second. I want it to be able to share. Yeah, it's not showing the phone itself. What I'll do is let me walk you. You could see the phone, but it's not showing what I'm actually doing because I'm
Okay.
on a Zoom call. So what you would do essentially is, do you have like a more option?
Yes, there is. It's a more right here, right?
So if you tap on more, do you see something that says background and effects?
Yes, I do.
So if you tap on background and effects,
Yes, I see it.
underneath background, because you have background filters and avatars, do you see a plus button?
Yes, I do.
So if you hit the plus button, this will allow you to add your own personal photo, meaning you can go and download something from the internet like we did earlier with Beverly, or you can already have it in your phone. Maybe it was a picture that you took while traveling and you want that to be the background. Then you can go, and when you tap on the plus, then you should be able to add that photo.
Yeah, but okay, so to actually add another background, I would have to go into Google.
I not have to. I would say that's probably that's one of your options. So you can either already have the photo on your phone. Let's
I
say,
don't have it. I just have
okay,
pictures, but I wouldn't use it as a background.
of course. So then I would go on that iPad. You can go to Google, and then you can look for Zoom backgrounds. And then
Okay.
if you save that photo, you're gonna save it to your photos. Where
Oh,
it's
you
gonna go
save
into,
it. Okay.
save it to the
View
Photos app.
photos.
And then when you go back in here and you hit the plus button, then
Yes.
you'll be able to tap into your phone's photos, and then you can
Right.
choose that one photo for the one you just saved in there from Google.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
We'll try it. Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome, Diane.
Appreciate it.
All right, Debbie, go ahead, and then we'll get right into the chat and I'll get back to the hands. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi. So here's I hope I hope that I'm explaining this correctly. So here's my thing. This morning when I went out, I Ubered, right? So I
Okay.
was able to get my Uber app on my phone and
Mhm.
then went to my doctor's appointment. But coming back, I couldn't get Uber to connect through on my phone, and I had to use my iPad
Hmm.
to call for Uber. So I don't know. I have cellular. I'm like so confused that it always seems to happen when I'm out. So I don't know. Is there something that's not um
Connected?
set or connecting? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, what it sounds like is that I'll walk you through some steps and you tell me what you see on your phone.
Okay.
So you say you're on the iPhone, correct?
Yes.
All right, so if you were to go to settings,
Okay.
and then at the very top, you see under Bluetooth where it says cellular,
Right.
tap on that, and then the first option, cellular data, is that green or gray?
Green.
Okay, perfect. Underneath that, it says cellular data options. Can you
Roaming
tap on
on.
that? Okay, so
Roaming.
roaming on. And then
Right.
once you tap on that, data roaming is on. Voice and data, what does that say?
Oh, wait a minute. So when I tapped on data roaming, oh, the only thing that came up was low data mode and limit IP address tracking. Now I have a 6S, so maybe that's the reason.
Not necessarily. You should still be able to use data. So data roaming, is that green for you?
Yes,
Okay. And then you don't have anything underneath data roaming.
just low data mode and limit IP address tracking.
Can you tap on anything other than like a data roaming thing, like the option? If you turn it on and turn it off, what happens?
Data roaming, I turned it off, nothing.
Okay, and then you turn it back on.
I turned it back on. Now my low data mode is not on.
Yeah, I don't necessarily keep that on. Like most of us will have like something where, it's either unlimited or you probably won't exceed that data.
Right.
What I'm looking for, because I know being that you have a 6S, the operating system can't be as updated as mine.
Right.
So I'm trying to remember what it used to look like. And one of the options that I usually see is that you can have voice and or data that is where you can choose it. And sometimes the data is off. So I'm not sure that you want to make sure that the data is on, because if you're going out or you're outside of your house and you're telling me that it happens all the time, it just seems like your data may be turned off. And the only time you're really checking emails and surfing the web is when you're connected to Wi-Fi. And if that's the case, that's one of the reasons why you cannot get your Ubers, they can't get your location, you can't do
Right.
anything outside of that. Now you can make and receive phone calls, but the data is something very different, because that's going to transmit your internet, if that makes sense.
Right. Oh, it does.
So if you back out of there and you go back into cellular, the main screen of cellular, do you have any options there where it says like to make sure that your data is actually it's on roaming?
So I went in, so I'm in data roaming is on, right? So that's on. Low data, roaming on is on. Personal hotspot is off.
And that's fine. You won't need a personal hotspot, but as long as the data roaming is on, the only other thing, if all of that stuff is working the way it's intended, I do know that there was a problem with the iPhone 6 with the antenna, but I don't think that that's necessarily the case. What you could do is you can call up your provider such as AT&T, Verizon, or even go into a store and just see and test it out. Don't connect to a Wi-Fi, but just test it out to see if you could still do things on the internet with cellular. Because if that's the problem, it could be something that could be physically wrong with it, where it's not, getting you out. But that shouldn't be the case where you can't tap into your internet.
Right. And the thing that says personal hotspot, that can be off.
Yeah, that could be off. That's something that's by choice if you wanted to use this to connect to the internet on another device, but you can't even get out to connect to the internet. But one last thing I would just say, you can also look into your privacy settings. Sometimes I find that people have turned the data off to work with certain applications by accident. And that would be in your privacy. And then once you go to the different applications, location services, you can go in the location services, you can go and find that particular app. And sometimes I've found where they have it completely off. And I'm like, well, yeah, it will never work because you're telling your phone never to use Uber with the data services. So it'll never, ever work.
So I just went in there, it says Uber while using.
Yeah, so while using, that's good. Sometimes people will have it off, but while using that application, you should certainly get some type of data. So I would take it into one of the stores and just see if someone can actually, get eyes on it and actually see it to make sure that you're getting what you're paying, what you're paying for.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about just getting a new phone anyway.
Yeah, listen, they have the iPhone 13s right now. The 12 is still good, and they're giving really good prices. 13s are still going to be the same cost, the retail. But the 12s and the 11s and the 12s are still great phones.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get a more cost-efficient phone, if you want to keep the button, they have the iPhone SE for, I think, almost $400.
Yeah, that's what I like the button.
Yes.
So I'm sort of used to the button.
Yeah.
I love the button.
Right.
Yes, the button's great.
That's great. Thank you so much. I appreciate
You're welcome,
it.
Debbie.
So
Indeed.
speaking of that, Pat Lindbergh had a question. She had two questions. She's looking to get a new phone. She has an iPhone 7. She wants to know which you recommend. And then she also asked, how do I make sure everything in her phone is backed up from her iPhone now, so that if she changes phones, she has everything.
Okay, yeah, Pat, what I would say is, if you're really comfortable with the iPhone, stay with the iPhone, because then you're gonna have to learn the Android. Both of them, both smartphones are great phones. I find that, just in my line of work, working with people that are, young and mostly I would say 60 plus, they tend to find it easier to learn how to use the iPhone and the iPad. It's very intuitive. It's very it's a no-brainer. But the reason why people have problems with it is because they overthink it. So it's, again, the iPhone is automatic, and most people will try to shift gears no matter what, and you don't have to. So I like the iPhone, and I would suggest you stay with it. Just like I was telling Debbie, should you upgrade to a newer phone, you have to know that after the 10, the phone loses the button. And they left it out for a while, but then they brought it back because people were screaming at Apple saying, we like the button. So there are options to get a phone with the button, and it's the iPhone S as in Sam, E as in Edward. And you can get that phone. They don't make it, last time I checked, it's not the big version, but it's a smaller version. It's not too small, probably, maybe the same size as your iPhone 7. But I would stick to the iPhone because I think it will be an easier transition. To ensure that everything is backed up, one of the things that I would recommend is, and I'll open up my iPhone here so you can see it. So in my phone, you would go to your settings first. And in the settings, I'm operating on the latest operating system here. So I'll tap on my name at the very top. And then I would go to my iCloud here. And in iCloud, once you go down, pass up all of this good stuff, Actually, you know what? They moved it. It's up to the top here. So I have my iCloud Drive. It used to be at the bottom, iCloud Backup, but it's now at the top here under Photos. When you tap on that, it should, mine says on, which yours should say on as well. And I have this turned on, iCloud Backup, backup over cellular, and you can always back up now. So whenever you make the transition, even if it's not backing up and it doesn't say the latest backup was yesterday or this morning, whatever, you can hit backup now and it'll start to back up everything that you need, so that when you get the new phone, all you have to do, the hardest part is signing in with your credentials, the email address and the password that you have for iCloud.
Is there a secondary way to do a backup?
Yeah, it's the old school way. You could actually plug your phone into your computer. If you would have to have iTunes on that computer, and you would physically plug it up into the computer. And then once iTunes is open, as long as the software is updated on the iTunes you have on your computer and it meshes with the iPhone, then you have an option to back up. And you can always, let me stop sharing my screen. You can always do like a little quick Google search, back up iPhone to iTunes. Let me show you this screen here. So backup iPhone to iTunes. So I just Googled something like that, just so in case you forget what to search for, this will give you via apple.com step-by-step directions as to how to back it up right to your device, your computer.
Would you be able to take that and put it into a new phone?
Certainly, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. So
Great.
if you don't use the iCloud, you can back it up to your computer, make a copy. It'll tell you when it's done. And then once it's actually done, you can go and get the new phone, plug that phone up there, and then, it'll restore it. It'll ask you, how do you want to restore it? You won't restore it from iCloud, you'll restore it from the iTunes backup. And what I would suggest, if you do it that way, either way, just don't erase your iPhone before you make sure that you restored your iPhone from the backup. That makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Other than the button, is there, like for the newer iPhones, is there a certain one you would recommend? I know at one point Verizon wasn't doing 5G on the 13 or something. Is that true now?
I believe they are, but I think as far as speed, 5G is a nice, pretty word. It's like, you're getting a little bit more speed, but for what most people do, it's, you probably won't see a difference. The LTE is still fast, but the reason why I would say, if you were okay with doing without the button, I would basically tell you that getting the iPhone 13 or 12, something that's going to future-proof your purchase so you can keep it for the next 5 or 6 years, so that when it's outdated, in a sense that you can't update anymore. That's the only reason why I would tell you to get one of those other devices. It has the latest and greatest storage, camera, all of that good stuff. But even with the SE, it's one of the latest phones out there as well. But just with the one with the facial recognition, the iPhone 13, I personally don't like the upgrade just because I'm a nerd. I like to hold on to my stuff, but usually when I have to, I didn't want to get this 13, but I had to, just because there were some changes and I needed to learn it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're
So
very welcome.
Julie had a question. Julie, you're there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah, so when she watches webinars or seminars on Zoom, I know that in webinars, like Julius, that there's the Q&A tab that viewer uses to submit questions. It's a separate from the chat. There's a question, there's a box to check the send question to anonymous. Do you know if it's truly anonymous to the meeting organizer to get the Zoom meeting we have to enter our email and our name? I know that they're definitely, like on polls, fully anonymous. You never see when someone's doing a poll, because we do polls, those are always anonymous,
Yeah.
fully. doesn't have to do, anybody could be, you know, no name comes up. I don't know if you know the answer, if to get on the Zoom, but I know that polls are anonymous. I'm not sure about the Q&A, but I know polls are 100% anonymous.
Yeah, that, you know what? I wish I can give a definite answer. That's something I would probably have to defer and see what Zoom says if they're, because they have it all in their literature to see if the Q&A is anonymous. But I agree with you. I've used the polls once, and I do know that what I read
Right,
at that point in time, it was anonymous.
Yeah.
If it says, if it gives you the option to check anonymous, that you don't want them to know it's coming from you, or you have the option to say, hey, it's coming from Julie, then it's 100% anonymous, because our polls are anonymous.
Right.
I know that. We don't, that we do polls a lot, and they're fully anonymous. You know, people just put in their answer and we never know who does it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I had one question on a battery. I have a Surface Pro, a small Surface Pro, and the battery's getting older. It's only lasting maybe, 2-3 hours. And it's my understanding that you cannot replace the battery. You just have to replace the unit, right? The whole.
Yeah, I would say, I think the last time I checked was about a year, no, almost 2 years ago, where, they used to have the Microsoft stores, like the Apple stores.
Right, yeah, they don't.
Yeah, and they're gone,
Yeah.
like, so I would say if they had it, there's a way to replace the battery. Now, you will find some, mom and pop shops, computer repair shops that probably would offer to replace the battery, or maybe, some local type of tech company that will replace it as well. But I would say you can kind of do your, some research to see.
Yeah.
But I know at that time, because of that battery, I normally only like to tell people, if you got an Apple computer, just because you get the best price and you kind of know who's putting the battery in your computer, go to Apple. If you have a Microsoft Surface Pro, go to someone that is approved to actually put in that battery if they're able to change it out.
Right.
Yeah.
When it gets real short, can I use it indefinitely, just plugged in?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
As long as, what I would tell you about that, I see it not a lot, but quite often, where people just keep their devices plugged in. And it's one, it's going to kill that battery over time, a little bit faster. Two, you may even see that the battery might pop and physically warp your machine.
Oh, okay.
I've seen it in iPhones, I've seen it in iPads, I've seen it in Macs, I've seen it in PCs where they just keep it plugged in. So just be wary of that. But if you're not doing it all the time, Julie, and you're like, all right, you know what, I just want to watch this movie really quick, let me just keep it plugged in the whole time. I personally do it. If I'm lazy and I don't want to go downstairs and watch TV and I want to watch a movie on my computer in the bed, I'll do just that, and I'll keep it plugged in for like 2 hours. But after that, I don't keep it plugged in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Corrine asked about photos. How she has they have an iPhone 10 and they pay 99 cents a month for the cloud. I do not even know how that works. Are they all in the cloud as well as on my phone?
Okay, I'm just looking for Corrine.
Corrine, are you there?
Are you there?
Do you want to unmute? Hold on. Let's see if Corrine can unmute.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hey, Corrine.
Hello.
Okay, so you're saying you have an iPhone 10, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and you're paying 99 cents for the cloud per month, and you're wondering if all of your photos are backed up to the cloud as well as on your device.
Yes.
Okay, so the best way to check that is if you go into, hang on. All right, so I'll go into my settings here. Let me back out. So you're gonna go to your settings app. What I would do is go to your iCloud here at the very top. And then I'll tap on iCloud. And if you notice on my device, one at the very top, it says storage. So I have an iCloud Plus. So there are a few different accounts that are backing up to that 2 terabytes. we're only using just a little bit of over 10% of that space that I am paying for. When you go into the photos themselves, when I tap on photos, this tells me right here that I'm using iCloud Photos. So I am pushing all of my photos that I take on my phone up and into the cloud, and I'm optimizing my storage on my phone. Or I had the option to download and keep the originals. I like option one because it's less weight on my phone and it doesn't take up too much weight here to fill up my physical drive, because although you can have 2 terabytes in the cloud, it doesn't mean that you have 2 terabytes on your phone. So when I go back here, I can look at managed storage underneath iCloud Plus, and I can see, once it gets done thinking, how much of my photos I'm actually using. So I have 158 gigabytes of photos in this storage here. So in your case, if you're seeing that all of your photos, if that's turned on iCloud Photos, then one, that means that all of your photos should be backing up into the cloud. And then two, if you can look at your Photos app, whatever you have that you can see, those are living on your phone. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Well, a little bit. I'm just not that good on my iPhone yet. My daughter gave it to me to bring me into the 20th century,
Nice.
21st century. So I'm very slow in figuring things out.
No worries. It's okay. But if you go into there, you'll be able to see, like if you're looking at your iCloud and you're paying 99 cents, it'll tell you that the maximum capacity for you will be 50 gigabytes. That's how much 99 cents will
I
buy
see,
you.
and it says iCloud. It says 27.4 gigabytes of 50 gigabytes, and I never even saw that before. So I guess I've got about half of what I can have.
Yeah, that's, you're using half of your space. So because you just told me that, you are backing up. Otherwise, you wouldn't see that number of that number. So you have about 25 gigabytes, and that doesn't mean that it's all photos. This is everything on your phone, photos included, that you're backing
Okay,
up. You can see that
because it
photos.
says messages too.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's more than, everything that's on your phone. So when as long as you see that photos is on, and when it's iCloud Photos, then that means that your photos are backing up in the cloud as well.
Okay, very good. I
Yeah.
got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome.
So I see, James, you're on the call, and I know you had a question for Julius. It was about how do I look at my calendar going forward for what I have scheduled? So James, are you there? Are you trying to look at that on your phone or on a tablet or on a computer? If you want to unmute.
Hi. Okay, I'm on a tablet. Here's the problem. And it's not a problem exactly. I get multiple registrations for classes. So I don't know if I've registered for it or not. So I re-register, which is like kind of silly. I don't know how far out I go. I really love My Health Angel. And I'm just trying to be organized. We went to this a while back with the Google Calendar, and
Sure.
I've been trying to do that. I don't want to bring up good or bad, but I'm trying to do that. I think My Health Angel offers so many good things that I really don't want to miss a class.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go in there, I can't tell if I registered or not, so I just re-register. I don't want to miss the class, if you know what I'm saying. But I might register for class 5 times because they send me multiple invites, which is good. I mean, I don't. It's better to be invited than to not be invited. And
Yeah,
that's
sure.
where I'm coming from. I'm just trying to keep track of all this stuff. My wife recently had hip surgery, so she's got her doctor appointments and therapies and this and that. So sort of like I have to coordinate different things in my life, and I'm not sure I'm doing the Google Calendar right, which is a different question altogether. But I do need to know, is there some place to go on My Health Angel and say, you are registered for the following. Because tomorrow I'm going to watch the D-Day thing.
That's, yeah, Wednesday.
No, tomorrow's Sabrina, the next day is the D-Day thing. I've got
Yeah.
a lot of different things I'm registered for. And like I said, I love My Health Angel, and you are an expert on what you're doing. Well, I'm
Oh, thank-
75 years old, and sometimes I get confused real easy. There's so many things you can do with a phone, an iPhone, a tablet, a computer. It's like, and then
It's confusing for
I would-
everyone, even if we're, I mean, literally 15 to 85, 90, right, Julius? I mean, it's just, there's a lot of information that we're
I
processing
mean, you
here.
can do so much with this stuff. It's incredible. On
Yeah.
the other hand,
Okay.
you can get so confused fast. So,
Yeah,
and
oh,
you're
totally.
the expert. I'm just kind of like asking this overall question. Is there a place to go on My Health Angel and say, what should I do, or what am I registered for? I couldn't get on this class earlier today. I made a phone call in, and somehow my tablet just magically showed up with you like 25 minutes later.
Guys,
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, let me put you on
yeah.
visual too.
Well, I would say, so two things. One, I'm on My Health Angels website right now,
I
and
understand.
I'm wondering, like, I know that you can click to join. I don't.
So here's the thing. So if you want to pull up the, so if you go right now, Julius, to,
Well, I'm on right now. I mean,
right,
I'm
so
not saying
if you
I
want to
couldn't
share
get
your
on a
screen,
half an hour
Julius.
ago. I'm
Okay.
just,
Yeah, so if you go to My Health Angel and you go to the tab where it says, let's say, virtual events. So you're going to sign up for another event, all virtual events, right? So you click on that. I know you get the invitations in your inbox, so that's where you go. But this is essentially the same thing. So if you click on Tuesday Talks, Julius, let's say, right, and you go to click here to register. So I know I'm registered, so I register for it. But what happens is if I forget that I'm registered, I'll go and type in my name. And then once I type in my name, it'll say on the bottom, it appears, it says you have already registered for this class. It should say
okay.
that. Once you've registered with the same email, the same thing, and it'll tell you, so then you don't even need, then you just X out of there and you don't need to re-register, because it does give you that little note on the bottom once you have signed. So Julius, if you register for this and then you try it again, it'll show James that method. I know you're trying to see it
I'm
all in
missing it.
one
I'm
place.
sorry. I understand what you're saying. I just not noticing the note at the bottom, because
Okay.
I am sure I've
Let me go
re-registered
back now and
for
see if
Sabrina
I.
3 times. on
Right,
a-
okay. All
a
right, so
weekly
hold on.
basis.
So he's gonna go back. He just registered. Now he's like, oh, it's 5 days later. He doesn't remember, he gets it.
Well,
Here,
I
he's
don't
gonna go in
remember.
and register. Yep. And then Julius, if you go in and register now, same way you just did, go hit sign up, like the way anybody else who doesn't remember if they signed up.
All right, we did.
And then see, you are already scheduled for
Okay,
this.
I'm missing that note. I'll watch for it, okay?
Yeah, that will
It
definitely
makes
help
sense
with
that I
the,
registered 7 times for something.
yeah, so that will definitely help with that. As far as putting it in your calendar, you can,
Well, I
hit
put in the Google
complete.
Calendar like he told me to.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm obeying to a point. The problem is I don't always see stuff
yeah.
that I've done. It's
No, I know. None of us do, believe me. I could do this 10 times. I'm like, oh, I already registered for this. And I'm like, I got to get it in my calendar, because that's how I just go by my calendar. But this is definitely a surefire way. If you scroll a little bit down, you will see this notification appear, and then you're like, oh, I signed up for it, so then I don't need to sign up again. And then you will get the 1 hour reminder on the day of the event and the 1 hour email on the day of the event, both places. And we are in the process of trying to update the system where there'll be a link, but it's a process. I mean, this is not, it's like anything else. It's like,
Well, let me go back 1 second. I'm just trying to say, okay, I've registered for Sabrina for the next 2 weeks. I've registered for the tech support. I've registered for having your best life, or whatever,
yeah.
breathing right, whatever the classes are. And I just know, is there any place to go and say, okay, what have I done on my calendar with My Health Angel? Because I do register for quite a few things. Then I don't remember when I get these reminders if you want to register again.
Right, so you want to see a whole calendar of everything
Right.
you signed
What-
up for the
my-
month or going
Not
forward.
not your calendar available. I want to see the calendar of what I've done. Is there some place there to look at, or is just, it's not?
I'd have to ask our tech
Okay,
support to see
fine.
if we could pull that up, and we can
I don't wanna
definitely get
put-
back
I
to
don't
you on
want
that.
to take everybody's time on this. I'm just saying, that's my personal question, because I
Yeah,
really.
no, sure, that's a great
really
question.
like People that are on Sabrina's thing. I love the tech support. It's, there's stuff you don't even know to ask.
Yeah,
Like he says,
Yeah.
okay, go to your phone, go up to the little three dots. Now you can
Yeah.
delete all the messages you don't want without going one by one. I mean, he shows so many good shortcuts.
right, and half the times you're not asking the question, someone else is, and you're like, I had that question too, and that's a good, so that's a lot of why we do these, because,
Julius, he's really,
yeah.
I wish I could just adopt him and have him here for 3 hours and just, all right, this is what you need to
We
do.
all
This is
do.
what you're really doing it wrong.
We'd have to cut them up in a lot of pieces, because everybody wants
But
pieces.
like, I mean, on my
Yes.
phone, I've got the pin setter photos where it says birds or sunset or whatever. And then I got the messages where it's phones, I've saved it. And I do need to load it up in the cloud to be safe. And I mean, that's not my question right this second, but I'm just saying there's so many different things I could do better if I just knew how to ask the question. And you're like an encyclopedia of information. I don't even know how to ask my question because you know so much more than I do. It's like, okay, what should I ask?
Right.
Well, no,
These classes
James,
are great. And
and
sometimes
I,
I get my answers
I
without asking the
truly-
question.
yeah, and I truly appreciate that. Now, I want to let everyone know, like, it, I do this for a living, right? But it's not that I'm that smart of a guy. I'm trying to tell you, like, in all seriousness, that I personally like to break things down so that a 5-year-old kid can understand it. I'm not saying that I'm talking to you all like a 5-year-old kid, but I want to make sure that it's if you are a 5-year-old kid, you can get it. In addition to that, if you're an adult, you can also understand it.
Well,
This stuff is
Not to
not
interrupt
like,
you, but a 5-year-old kid's not afraid of a computer and he'll just try something. And all us
and
adults
that,
standing around going, what are you doing? He says, well, this should work. And we're all
yeah,
like memorized because they're not afraid. We're always afraid.
that's it. It's exactly. It's no fear. So that's what I try to instill in all of you. It's just like, if you want to like try something new, that's great. Just don't drop your device. Don't throw it against the wall. Don't do any of that stuff, and it'll possibly work. But when it comes down to it, this is a very, very crazy evolving language that I am constantly trying to keep up with the slang, if you will. I go to appointments all the time and things that I do, and I'm like, hey, like, the young lady who had the 6S, I used to work on that, but things have evolved so much. So I'm trying to dig back into my brain to say, how did we used to say that back in the day? Yeah, because the terminology changes, things move around, as well as in the future. Anytime we're talking about this stuff, I can try to get an old printer to connect with a new computer, and it's hard. They're like, I thought you do this. Some clients are like, chop, chop, you guys got to get it done, but it's really not that easy all the time. So I understand the foundation, and that's what, all of these classes are about, to kind of teach you all the foundation. And when James brought up a really good point, sometimes you don't know how to take your problem and put it in a way that you can even tell me that you have a problem. I know enough to perhaps assume that maybe you're talking about X, Y, and Z, right? But then I'm always asking you guys questions that are like, hey, can you be my eyes because I can't see what you're seeing, to tell me a little bit more so I can try to imagine what you're going through. But this is where it comes down to like Google, and that's why I'm always kind of showing you some Google stuff to show you how you can put it in Google. Sometimes you just need to ask it the way your mind is thinking it, because I kid you not, somebody else's mind has thought it the same exact way. And it's like, how do I do this thing with my Mac? How do I get my printer to fax? So how do I get it to scan? Just ask it, and Google will kind of look at it semantics wise and say, well, James, maybe you meant this. Is this what you're looking for? And then when you start to see the answer to it, you may say, oh my, oh, that's called the thingamajig. I can't call it the, whatever. And then it's gonna kind of teach you this lingo of speaking all of this stuff that I just learned throughout the years. And sometimes, I'm always building a plane as I'm flying, like right now. So
Gotcha. All right. I used to know how to use Lucid 3D, which is a spreadsheet, and it had 35 pages under each cell. I used to know how to use Borderland, and I don't remember what the spreadsheet thing was there. We could do slideshows and whatever, but now the whole world's gone to Microsoft and Outlook and whatever. So basically, if you don't know those, you don't know anything. And if you know something else, you have to figure out how to apply it to Microsoft. So it's an ongoing.
It's a work in progress. It's really every day changes.
Appreciate you're saying we can put it up in the cloud, because I've never put anything in a cloud. I understand the theory. You can take all this data you don't need and put it up in the cloud for free until you get, how many megabytes it is. But I don't have a clue how to do it. So anyway, I'm just throwing that out to you. I appreciate you let me speak here, because I really, for the most part, don't talk.
We always love when you add in.
About that, but I really kind of try to be a quiet person. But it's sort of like I could do so much more if I knew what I was doing than I'm doing right now. And I really appreciate the classes.
Time limit.
Make it like, okay, ask me a question, which is so wonderful. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Well, thank you, James. We love when you participate. Thank you.
Yes.
So Rose had a question about needing to know, I know we talked about this calendar last time, and with the color coding, and Frida was all excited, and Frida helped her. But she's asking a question a little different: to get the colors in her calendar and her computer. She knows how to do it on her phone, but did not listen last time, which I'm shocked, because Rose listens. She's the A+ student here. Did not listen last time, and we had questions until I realized it. When I was putting things into my calendar, you helped me, and then she forgot to write it down. Rose, I don't know, you always write everything down, so that shocks me. And information on how to colorize each items for different things. So maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So here, I'm actually gonna pull up my calendar here.
I have a Dell Inspiron 17R.
Okay, perfect. So in this case, Rose, you're just going to Google, and remember we had stated when it comes down to the Google Calendar, you're going to go to calendar.google.com. This is going to get you to your calendar. Once you're in there, and I'm just in September, let's go with October, forget it. So as I go here on my left here, I have all of my calendars. Just so if you didn't make the class, basically what I had stated was you can create these calendars to be whatever you want them to be. So the yellow could be all doctors. The green could be, gym. The blue could be bridge, whatever you want these to be, but you can change the colors by going over to the little three dots here. And when you go over to 3 dots, then you'll be able to change those colors, Rose.
Okay, thank you, Julius. I totally missed that.
No worries. It was a lot of information. No worries.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. And your little one looks very good. And everybody, I have to get dressed to go to a doctor's appointment. So thank you. I'll see everybody tomorrow, and see you next time, Julius.
All right, sounds good, Rose. Take care.
Okay, and we have Dorothy. Do you want to unmute? I see your hand up. I see Sharon and Marion. You've been patient, Linda.
Because yes, I'm Dorothy. I want to know, does it mean anything that my photo doesn't show? I see my name, and then I was able to figure out how to raise my hand to ask the question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can. I was actually just looking for you, Sharon. I found you up there.
I'm Dorothy Harris.
Oh,
it's Dorothy.
Oh, hang on. Okay. I have 2 people unmuted. Most people are okay. I see you now. I can't see you, but I can see your little Dorothy Harris name.
Okay. And that's all that should be there. Just Dorothy Harris. That's
Do you have a camera?
A camera. I'm working on my laptop. Yeah, Yes, I
So
mean, when I did,
I'm asking you to start video. It's like there's a little button. Do you see start video for a host asked to start
oh
video?
yeah, there's a slash, a red line through that. Should that be, should I
If you
click
want
it?
to be seen, yes, you could unslash that, click that, and then we should be able to see you.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's not really important. I just was thinking, hoping it didn't keep me from anything else. But my real question is,
Oh, there you are. We see you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure I want to be saying. Okay. Okay.
No,
All
we
right.
love to see you. We love the connection. That's the beauty of this whole thing, seeing and
Okay,
talking
well-
and being. Yeah, we love
Well,
it.
thank you. But my question is, I have an iPhone 8 Plus. I know they no longer make them, but I'm getting the message that says my iPhone memory is full. And that's when I went to YouTube, it says iPhone memory full, device will not work. Does that mean I need to clean it, buy an app to clean it, or?
Yeah, so it's not complicated, but you just want to make sure what you're deleting. Like if you are going in there, I'll share my iPhone screen again so you could see it.
Okay.
But if your iPhone is, hang on, there we go. So let me go into my settings. And then I usually go into general here.
Go into general, okay.
General. And then I go to iPhone storage.
Yeah, I've gone there, general, and when you say iPhone storage, right? I went to my store trying to understand that, and he told me he thought I had enough space. It says 48.3 GBs of 64 GB used.
So here's, and the reason why I'm taking you here is because sometimes the message gets confusing. So if it's your iPhone storage on your iPhone that's physically here, if you have 48 of 64, I would say that your storage is not full. But, and there is a but, if you go back and then you go back to settings and you go back to this screen here, what we were talking about before. Now, if you got iCloud storage full, that's different.
Go back to,
where you see your name at the very top. And then if you tap on that there.
I don't see that. Name. When I went to setting. I'm sorry, where should I be? I lost.
If you're looking at my screen, this is where you want to be, like at the very beginning of settings, where you see. So if you can go back at the very top left, like if you were here, and then iPhone storage, you see where it says general up at the top left?
Yes, I see. Well, my general was not at the top left. My general was down in the listing.
Okay,
General.
so now if it's in the listing, now you want to scroll up and you should see your name up at the very top.
Okay, general. Oops.
Not in
general.
general.
I see. Yes, I see my name at the very top.
Yeah, so then you tap on your name and then you want to tap on iCloud after that.
My name and then iCloud. Okay.
Does that say it's full, the storage at the top?
iCloud, 4.7 GB of 50 used.
4.7 of 50?
Of 50 used. iCloud Plus. It says iCloud Plus.
So did someone help you upgrade it? Because it seemed like you're upgraded. You have 50 gigabytes, and if you're only using like almost 10% of it. If you have 4.7 of 50 used.
So why am I getting that message then from that says no storage? Why am I getting that iPhone memory full?
I would love to answer that without seeing your device. I'm only going off what you're telling me, but it doesn't seem like you're full. On the iPhone itself, it seems like you have enough space. If it's saying you're only using 4.7 GB of 50 GB, you have enough iCloud space. And then in addition to that, you're using 48 gigabytes of 64 on your phone. You still have another 12 gigabytes of space.
So is that just because it's YouTube? Is that pertains just to YouTube then? Because I'm not a member of some kind, I don't know.
I don't know if you're getting that message, if it's popping up, I don't know how that message is popping up. If it's real or not, I would probably take it in just to confirm so someone can get eyes on it. Maybe take it to your, your carrier or,
All right.
to the Apple store. But from what you just stated to me, it seems as though that you're good. Now you are reaching the ceiling on the space on your phone because you're using 48 of 64, but you still have room there.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Okay. And Marion, go ahead.
Yes. Hello, Julius.
Hey, Marion.
Hi. I just wanted to ask a question. On the reminder app, when you go in and you put in your reminder and it loads in there and you get that little dot on the side when you go to look for that message that you had, the reminder that you had put in there.
Let me actually re-download it so I could see it. I don't have it on this phone here. This is the app you're talking about, right?
Reminder, yeah, but it's on the iPhone 12.
Okay, so this, we won't do that yet. So this one right here is the app you're talking about. So if you actually create a new reminder.
Yeah.
So we'll call it testing. Angel. And what exactly are, so once I have under my reminders, here's my reminders here. You mean these here?
No. When you put in that reminder, what was it put in as a schedule?
Okay, yeah. So when it comes up to today, basically it'll kind of compartmentalize as scheduled, as well as like these are my 5 here. So when you add in a reminder, if you notice that you get a title and you can add in notes and you could say whatever the name of that title is, like call the doctor, call so-and-so, feed the dog, and then you type in something in notes here. If you go to list, this is my list. I don't want to share with my family because I have it on here, but I can actually have it on there. And when I add it in my all compartment, it'll go in there. But then in a schedule, these are different things of reminders and schedules. So these things went into the reminders and it said, hey, you know what? You have this reminder because it was associated with a time and a date, and it got saved right here. So at that point in time, this is what got saved, and that's why it's in both of these boxes as today and schedule. But if you go down to your list under reminders, that's where you'll get everything at.
So that's where it would be kept.
Yes.
But what happened was when I hit that little dot, it went somewhere, or I think it deleted is what happened.
Well, yeah,
it didn't
and
go to list, no.
So it can check off. So right now, you notice that now I have, when I tapped on a couple, when you hit the dots, they're gone away. And basically in here, you can see in your reminders, let me click on this guy right here. If I click on the top right, the little dots up here, you can show completed, and you'll see the ones that I ticked off right here. You see that?
Right.
So whenever I click on here, you can have the option of hide completed or show completed.
Okay, but the last question, it's up to you to remember that reminder if it's for the, say for today, or do you get a notification, a little ringtone?
Yeah, it'll give you a notification in your notifications where it'll say, hey, you have this thing happening today. That's why for me, I wasn't too keen on the reminders. I personally like the calendar because I am just more apt to look at my calendar all day and I'm like, hey, did I do everything, on here? So I can look at my calendar here, no matter what. I'm like, oh, I had that reminder, but then I still go back to my calendar and say, what do I have for today? That's why I personally use that over the reminders, because I wasn't really getting a notification, even though it was popping up. But sometimes if I'm busy on a phone call, I'll ignore it and then get back to it later. And I was forgetting a lot of things.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Linda, go ahead. You have to unmute, if you can unmute.
Whoops, there we go. Okay. I bought a new computer a couple months ago and I want to copy over all my information that I need to the new computer. And it's like, I don't even know where to start at.
That's a hard one. Not in the hard way that it can't be done, but just to walk you through it on this call, it depends on how much data you have on that computer, what you have to transfer it. Like I use, I don't think I have it in here. I use like
I use Excel and Word quite a bit.
So you would have to, you can buy like a little thumb drive that you can have on there. Like here's a little thumb drive that I have here. You can buy one of these. It's large. It's 128 gigabytes, even though it's that small. If you only have documents you need to, bring over, I'm sure this will suffice. You can plug this up into the new computer. Then you have to find this drive, whatever the name of it is, and then save it to this drive. Once it's saved, then you plug it into the new computer and you move it from there. It's not an easy 1, 2, 3 step that I could definitely walk you through here. Or even it's easy. If I had the computer, I could do it quick, fast, and in a hurry. But to walk you through it, and if you don't have like that much experience in like, saving things to another drive, an external drive, and then bringing that drive over, I wish I can give you the steps. There are some things that you can look up on Google, how to transfer documents. You could use like a Google Cloud, like the Google Drive to transfer things up. But again, it's gonna take a little know-how, Linda. And
You're
to
freezing
see
up.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, Linda's frozen now.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess that's a little tougher because you really need to be there in person with that.
Yeah.
But we could, I guess we'll move on. I know it's 5:15 and we have a couple hands up and there's just like 2 more questions in the chat. So Martha, do you want to unmute? You have a kind of an easy one. Can you replace a battery for an iPhone 4?
If anybody will, if I had an iPhone 4 and I wanted anybody to touch it, it would only be Apple. I think that if you take it to the Apple store, you probably get the best deal on it. Yeah, you can go to some break iFix type of stores, third parties like that, to get it. But maybe even Apple may say that it's outdated. And that's the only problem with that. But being that you have that precious cargo, I still have an iPhone 4 at home. You may have a hard time finding that particular battery. And if you do, I would just get someone who's very familiar with replacing that battery because it's not hard. You just want to get someone that can do it.
Get an Apple. Okay. I have another question too. The iCloud, I'm looking at this. Mine says backups, photos, and docs. It doesn't say anything about messages, and it doesn't seem to have any storage for docs. Why is mine different than yours?
You're on that iPhone 4?
No, I have an iPhone 13. I'm looking at.
Okay, got it. So with mine, the way in which I have mine set up, I have mine set up so that I back up a lot of different things. I use iCloud for a lot of stuff. So in here, in this new software update, I have it all turned on. So with all the messages, I have all these things ticked. I can care less about the news, but everything else is ticked because I want all of my stuff to back up.
Oh, okay, so my messages is not clicked. So if I click that, it will start backing them up.
Yeah, exactly. There
Okay.
was a point in time where that option wasn't even there. And then when you would, get a new phone and you would bring everything over,
Right.
sometimes messages wouldn't come over. So
Right.
now they have that option where it'll just pop
Okay.
right over.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, Martha.
And I see that Sheila Benson asked, how do you create a link to download photos to share with others?
Yes, that's my question.
I would say if you want to download photos to share with others, are you using like a Dropbox or a Google Drive or photos on Google, Sheila?
Is it just from your phone?
It would be on my laptop. I would like to establish a website or a link so I can move some photos, I guess, from the Google Cloud or wherever the photos are from, either phone or wherever. If it's on my computer, I want to make sure I can get them into a link that I can then share with other folks. How does
So
that sound?
are you using Google like Photos to back up your photos now?
No.
Okay, that's I would say that's an easy way to do it. One of the easiest. There's many ways that you could do this, but this will be the easiest way that I can give you a short answer. I'll just share my screen really quick. And I'm back in Google Photos. I only have that one little photo on there, as you could see. But for instance, if I were to, let me just move this out of the way here. If I were to, this particular photo, I can click this photo here, or I can click multiple photos if I wanted to. And if I had multiple photos, but this little button right here, it's like 3 little circles connected. Yeah. If I click on share, I can then share this either by typing in their name, right?
Okay.
And then they'll get an email and I'll say, hey, dude, check out this photo, check out my photos. And then I can send that off to them. Or I can literally create a folder and then create a link. And then you see where it says create a link to share it. Now I have my link, I'll copy it. Then I can send this via text or email because you're on your computer. So probably via email. And then you could actually from there, you can send that out to whomever you want to send it to, and they can view 200 photos that you have shared with them.
Okay, so what you're saying, I saw where you said create a link, and then you go back to Google Photos, photosgoogle.com, and check that off, and somehow that'll get into the link that I can send that link forward.
Yeah, you would upload all your photos. So, you go to photos.google.com is number one. Have all your photos living here as well, or this could be your primary place. And then once they're all here, you can, as I hover over this, I can check mark this photo and I can check mark 100 photos if I wanted to. And then I can share that with this little option right here. Once I do that, I have the option to just email it. They actually will send it to a phone number as well. Or I can create a link and then share that link.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sort of to help.
You're
All
welcome.
right. And I see, I don't know who's behind Zoom user, the name, but if you want to unmute, I see you have your hand up. If you want to tell us your name and you have a question.
Is that
yes.
me? Are you
Yeah.
talking about? Hi, my name is Paula, and I have a question. Hi. And congratulations of the baby.
Thank you so much, Paula.
All right now, I have an HP laptop and I dropped it and broke my DVD drive, and I know how much it costs to fix it. But on top of that, I have I put a password which I really didn't need. Nobody knows how to use computer or laptop but me, and it was my private laptop, and I put a lock on it. For some reason, I locked it with a password, and there's nowhere on there where it says, like, you know, if you get locked out somewhere, it says, well, forgot password, and then you can try to redo it and do make a new password. And I got the name, it says this, and it gives me the hint, but I don't remember what the hint was, and I cannot get in. Do I need a tech to do that? Because I went to Google to ask the information, and it said there's several ways to do it, to get in on my own without paying extra money when I'm getting the DVD drive fixed.
Yeah, so
does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Thank you. It does make sense. So when it comes down to it, one, instead of getting the DVD drive fixed, I don't know how much they're charging you, but an alternative would be
$69. That's not
okay.
bad.
So that it's not a bad price. If you don't use it that often, then I would say maybe you could just opt for getting one on Amazon for about 19, 20 bucks, where you could just physically plug it into it via a cord. That's another option.
Right.
Two, you could, as far as the password to log into that computer, if it, logging into Windows, there are several ways. There's one way where you have to restart the computer and try to get into to reset the password. That way it's a bunch of steps.
Right.
Another way is you have to have like a backup on a little thumb drive.
Right. Okay, you did show me that earlier.
Yeah, and then the easiest way, sometimes you may remember it, but just be careful as to how you're typing in the password. I've had people tell me I'm typing in the right password, I know what I'm doing, and then they have the caps lock on, or they're putting the uppercase instead of a lowercase.
Okay.
So try that, but if not, I would tell you to probably, if you can't figure it out, because the processes, they get a little crazy, that's why I would bring tech that could do it.
Yeah, because that's gonna run me over the $69 for the disk drive. Then it's gonna run me to like $179. I was wondering if I should just go get me another laptop,
Well, yeah, I mean, you could, but it's if you got information on that you need, I would say, try to break into it or try to keep playing with passwords.
I love this one. I love this laptop. I don't want to get rid of it. And it's mine. And I want to find out what my hint was. And I know what the password is giving me, and it's saying, and then whatever the hint was, I can't remember just to get it going. It's terrible.
That's, I usually, when it comes down to these passwords for computers, I keep it very simple, 4 digits, or I ask for like, what's a favorite password? Give me your dog's name, Fluffy, whatever you want to call it. You put it in there and you keep it. Always, always, always write down your passwords and put them in a safe place, or store them so that you would know. But I wish I could be of more assistance, Paula.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. We'll see you next one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. Positive Pat, go ahead.
Hi.
Pat.
Hi. I would like to know, is there any way that we can get our videos and pictures from Facebook?
Meaning like just downloading everything at once?
Well, it can be at once over time to get taken from Facebook to your personal computer,
Sure, there is. If you were to go, we have just like a company Facebook. I'm logging into it right now. There is a way, I believe. Security and login, I believe they provided a way where you can your Facebook information. Okay, there is a way. They offered a way. I know I saw it a couple of years ago. Let me share my screen here. So in Facebook, oops, let me share my Safari. Sorry, here we go. There we go. So in Facebook, if you start here, Facebook, and then you go to, I'm on the desktop or, on the browser. If you go down to settings and privacy, and then you go to settings, and then from there on the left column, you see where it says your Facebook information?
Yes.
When you go to your Facebook information, they give you this option: transfer a copy of your information, copy your photos, videos, posts, and other information to another service, or download your information. Download a copy of your information to keep or to transfer to another service. So if you click on view here, they'll ask you, this is an HTML format. This is the only way to download it all. Well, let me see available files. Let's go with HTML. And I'm going all the way down to the bottom. Let me move this out of the way. And then once I click on that, I can request a download. That's if you want to take all your information out. If you just want to get a couple of things, a couple of pictures here and there. Let's see here. We don't post anything on this particular Facebook, but let's say I didn't even post this. This came from the club at Ibis. So if I clicked on this photo here and I wanted to download this, there is an option. I can actually right click it and I can click save image to downloads, and then I'll be able to download this particular image. And that's not even something that I posted. So you could do that same thing on something that you've posted, but in most cases, if it's a picture or video that you posted, unless you've deleted it by accident from your devices, you should still have that picture or that video.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I would say that that's probably the easiest way, because the other way will take you through, put you in a place where you're gonna have to then go somewhere else and download that information. Here, you could just go to the post and say, hey, you know what? I want this photo, I want this, and then you'll be able to download that particular information.
Okay. No, I have videos in there from way back years.
Yeah.
And photos.
Yeah, that should allow you to do that, Pat, where you
I
can
wanted to kind
and-
of get away from Facebook.
Got it. Yeah, I would go on there and just the other way, I've never done that other way. I just noticed that option a couple of years ago, but it should send you an HTML link where you can then download all your information. Here, you'll be able to go and download it one by one, what you want and what you don't.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome, Positive Pat.
So there's a last question here, because I know we're super running. I mean, it's 5:30, and thank you so much, Julius, for your patience as always. So Esther had a question in the chat that she has a Dell laptop. How do I find really old emails over 2000 where they are, and how do I delete? I keep getting messages that the mailbox is full, unable to send. So I've been deleting newer messages.
Hey, yeah, Esther, it all depends on what, are you using Outlook?
Esther, you there?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I have Outlook.
Okay. And so if you, whatever's in there, in your Outlook, even though you can't send anymore because perhaps you changed the password over the years or whatever the case may be, or it just needs to be updated, what you could do in Outlook is you could see your old inbox. Everything that was there at that given time should still be in that inbox unless it was deleted. If you are just trying to delete them, you could just close down the Outlook app if you don't want that to actually pop up. Are you still using that particular application on that computer?
Yeah, yes. Well, the thing is, I haven't changed anything, and I've been able to delete enough whereby I can still send and receive. But I really would like to be able to delete all of those ancient emails from years ago. I'm not going to be reading them again. I'm a hoarder. I have a hard time throwing out stuff, but I
Sure.
need to do that, but I don't know how to reach it in order to do that.
No, hey, listen, I'm glad that you're deleting those old emails. Some people hang on to them forever. What you could do, it should be in the inbox. If they're in the inbox and they're there, you should be able to delete it. Now, there's a lot to it. If we have more time, I would go into details. Like it's more like pop an IMAP because you could just go to what's your email address or at? You don't have to give us your whole email. Is it at Gmail, at Yahoo, at AOL?
At msn.com. I can tell you ecwilliams@msn.com.
Okay. So when you go to MSN, one of the things that you could do is you could delete from there. Now, if it's set up as in what I would call IMAP, it should delete from the server, msn.com or outlook.com. That's where you're probably accessing it. And then in turn, it should also free up the space right in Outlook. If it's set up the way in which it's supposed to sync. If not, you're gonna have to delete right from Outlook itself, but it should be in the inbox or whatever folders that you have on the left side over in Outlook. That's where you should be able to find those emails.
Okie dokie. I'm going to try that. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
So Sharon, I see you had, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I've been waiting for like 2 hours.
Yeah, we tried to, because you were, it was like, there was no video, audio coming through. So go ahead.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. My head is spinning already. First, if I want to use my iPhone to I think of something in the middle of the night and I want to write it down, is there a way to do a dictation so that I can save it and remember it?
Sure, yeah, there's a way that you could dictate and it'll dictate a note, or you can actually use the voice memos as well. And it'll just record your voice and you can go back to it later. Both of those apps are, well, one of them is not an app. Here, I'll show you here. One is called Voice Memos, and that's here. This is what the app looks like here. And so if you want to actually record something, you could just say blah, 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 and it'll tell you exactly where you are associated with the address that you're at. And then you could hit stop, and then you'll have that voice note that you can go and actually play back.
How did you get to that point? I don't know where you are.
It's a app called Voice Memos. You have to search for it on your phone. It looks like this here. Voice Memos. So if you look for that app on your phone, it's probably there unless you deleted it, but it should be on your phone somewhere. I just wouldn't know where it's at, but if you know what it looks like, you'll know what to look for. This guy right here, bottom left.
Okay, I'm looking. I think I have seen that, but I have to look for it for a moment. So you just hold that down and I still
No,
haven't found
not even holding it down. You just tap it one time to record yourself. You just hit that red button start to record, and it's gonna record whatever you're saying. And then when you're done, you just tap that little square now, and it'll stop and it'll add that new voice recording.
Okay. I still haven't found it, but I will look for it when I'm not taking up all your time. The other question is, I have a new car that doesn't have, a cassette or a tape deck or anything. Is there a way to like put my music onto some kind of device so that I can play it in the car?
Yeah, you can put it right on your iPhone. This is more than a phone. You can have it as an MP3 player. Like if you're using, there's various ways to do it. Like I signed up, I have Apple Music, so I'm able to listen to all of the different music that I get from Apple here. You could also buy the music, and or you can load the music into your device and put it on there and use Apple Music. There's Spotify, there's Pandora. There's free versions of those as well. You'll just hear some commercials.
I mean, if I have a specific old cassette that I want to hear, is there a way to put that onto like a thumb drive or whatever you call it? Or
no, there's not an easy way. There is a way. You would have to buy some hardware that will convert that cassette tape to something digital and then move that into your phone. It's a process. It can be done, but you would have to buy that equipment yourself, or you hire a company to do that on your behalf.
So it's nothing easy. Okay.
No.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right, you're very welcome.